Hello and welcome to a new episode of Cultural Magazine where we bring you the latest events taking place around the nation. Let's go take a look at today's episode.
President of the Cairo Opera House, Dr. Magdi Sabir, and the Director of the Arts and Culture Complex at Hilwan University, Dr. Ashraf Rida, inaugurated the Artistic and Architectural Heritage Exhibition at the Salah Tahir Hall, which is held under the title Cairo 50. The exhibition includes many different artistic paintings of a group of creative artists, including Dr. Mustafa Rumeh, Dr. Ashraf Zaki, artist Yasser Gaisa, artist Muhammad Al-Azhari, sculptor Hussam Hussein, and others who all express the artistic and architectural Egyptian heritage. This exhibition aims to promote the cultural and historical depth of Egypt, which aims to consolidate the Egyptian identity and its glorification, as Egypt is considered a beacon of art and culture in the Arab world and the world at large over various eras. The exhibition is organized by a committee of plastic artists who are Dr. Murad Darwish, Dr. Abdul Hamid Al-Ghazar, and several other distinguished artists. The Rida Folk Dance Troupe recently performed a spectacular show at the Creativity Center at El Ghuri Dome. The Rida Troupe is affiliated to the Art House of Folklore and Performing Arts. The show was held with preventive distancing measures. The folk dance troupe presented some of its famous shows, such as El Iskandarani, The Sticks, Gharib Ad-Dar, Noba, and a Gazelle in the countryside, as well as many others. It is worth noting that the troupe was founded in 1959 and presented its first performance at the Azbakeya Theater. The number of its members upon founding reached 13 men dancers, 13 women dancers, together with 13 musicians. The current number of artists has reached 180, most of them university graduates, whose dances were designed by the artist Mahmoud Rida. The distinguished choreographer, dancer, and founder of the troupe, Mahmoud Rida, was inspired by the arts of the countryside, Egypt's coasts, Upper Egypt, and Nubia. Farida Fahmy was the prima donna of the troupe. In 1961, a decision was made to affiliate the troupe to the Ministry of Culture, which meant that the troupe's management was for the ministry, and it was directed by the brothers Mahmoud and Ali Rida. And the musician Ali Ismail created a folk art orchestra accompanying the troupe and composed a large number of its famous performances. He composed The Mid-Year Vacation, Love in the Karnak Temple, and The Thief of the Paper, as well as some others. The troupe also presented its performances in various countries of the world and succeeded in achieving first places in most international forums and festivals during which Egypt was represented. It is also noteworthy that the troupe is now under the supervision of artist Dr. Mahmoud Salah, and the conductor of the orchestra is Maestro Hisham Nabawi. The Queens of Egypt exhibition was inaugurated this week at the Canadian Museum of History. This magnificent and highly anticipated exhibit is an enthralling journey into the world of Nefertiti, Nefertari, Hatshepsut, and other women of power and influence in ancient Egypt. It is like stepping back 3,500 years back in time into an immersive multisensory experience that reveals the stories of 7 fascinating female figures who played important military, political, diplomatic, and religious roles in the New Kingdom 1,500 years BC. They ruled as the wives, mothers, sisters, and daughters of pharaohs, and in one case as a pharaoh herself. Caroline Dromago, acting president and CAO of the Canadian Museum of History, said that Queens of Egypt is a rare opportunity to see treasures from one of the most important collections of ancient Egyptian objects, but above all to focus on an aspect less known and just as important, the place of women and their role in Egyptian royalty. Visitors will be spellbound by more than 300 monumental statues, sarcophagi, funerary objects, jewelry, and other iconic artifacts. One of the highlights is the Haram Conspiracy Papyrus, a remarkable document describing the accusations, convictions, and punishments meted out to conspirators who plotted to assassinate the pharaoh Ramses III. The majority of the objects on view come from Museo Egizio in Turin, Italy, which houses the largest collection of Egyptian antiquities outside of Egypt. The director of the museum, Egizio, Christian Greco, said that the artifacts displayed in the exhibition are much more than silent objects, but indeed a living world heritage capable of transmitting universal stories from the past to today. Greco asserted that the objects will enthrall and captivate the Canadian public. The Queens of Egypt also features Mission Nefertari, an area dedicated to family activities for visitors of all ages. In addition to on-site events and activities related to the exhibition, the museum is offering special programming online, including a guided tour with the curator and a virtual adventure. Queens of Egypt will be presented at the Canadian Museum of History until August 22nd, 2021. To ensure a safe, memorable experience, they are limiting the number of visitors inside the museum through timed admission tickets. The exhibition was developed by the Montreal Archaeology and History Complex in collaboration with Musée Egizio in Italy and adapted by the Canadian Museum of History.
The Cairo Opera House is a beacon of light for artists around the nation. It brings a lot of culture, a lot of heritage, and a lot of amazing artists. Let's go take a look at what the Cairo Opera House has in store for us.
The Cairo Opera House hosted for the first time on the Fountain Theater an excerpt from the most famous scene of the great opera Aida under the supervision of its artistic director Iman Mustafa, accompanied by the Cairo Opera Orchestra led by Italian maestro Elio Orcello and the participation of the Cairo Opera Ballet under the supervision of its artistic director Arminia Kemel and the Cairo Opera Choir led and trained by Carmen Colengle and directed by Hisham Talli.
that Opera Aida is the link between the Egyptian and Italian culture, and is our symbol of the friendship, not only culture but even mentally, of the two big countries as Egypt and Italy. And it's a long time that we are performing regularly this big opera, but this time is very special because we are at front of the opera in a very beautiful stage with a new decor, and unluckily we have to make only 2 acts because you know that we have to leave the opera at 9 o'clock. But in these 2 acts, all the story of Radames and Amneris and Aida is shown as it is a complete opera. And of course, in my memory, when we start to make Aida, it was something so extraordinary. And each time we are performing, it's always a pleasure and an honor to be part of this big opera. So this was the job of the director, Hisham Metalli, and so he did his best to perform the whole story in only 2 acts. What I can say from my side that I did the choreography of 2 big dances, the dance of the temple and the dance of the triomphe. And these are the 2 very representative dances that in all the world are performed. And in these 2 acts, for my luck, there are the 2 biggest dances. So from my side, nothing is missing from our job as a dancer and myself as a choreographer. So the choreography, of course, I did several versions. This time I adapted a little bit to the place because usually we are performing in bigger stage. So I reduced the number of dancers because there was not enough place. I modify a little bit the choreography, but the style that I was making the first time, I mean a long time ago, is all there because I was studying a lot before making the choreography because I was afraid to mistake. So I was really studying in the hieroglyphics, and I saw the position of the hands in the old drawing in the tomb. And then I make the choreography, and my husband Abdelmonem Kamel, Allah Yerhamu, told me it's okay, I am satisfied. So when I had this okay, I was very proud. Here we have an Italian conductor, Elio Orciolo, an Italian Radames. So even this, and of course our biggest Aida is the Dottorina Mustafa. And so we have even in the cast of singers and performers, as the maestro, the director of the orchestra, a link between Egypt and Italy. And this, I think, is very important, especially in this terrible period of fight and corona and restriction. So this is, for me, is a symbol of the friendship and the participation of countries.
لا احنا بنجهز لها بقالنا فتره طويله جدا.
As the Khedive of Egypt was a great lover of European culture, he decided to produce an opera commemorating the inauguration of both the Suez Canal and the Cairo Opera House. He then asked French Egyptologist Auguste Marit to write this opera script based on intense research of Egypt's ancient history.
In opera, always have the small pieces in the dancing, but when you have the ballet performances, you have all dancing ballet for 3 acts or 2 acts. So of course I wish, but you know the situation now it's not stable. So to make today Aida 2 acts in open air, it's amazing idea. In Europe they are doing that open air and in opera. For me I think. Of course, it's a hard situation, but to have performance outside and inside, it's a very good idea. I make it since I was 10 years old. Now I'm almost 40. I make it for 30 years, so I make a lot of versions. Dr. Amenaim Kamel, he make a version, and foreigners, they did another versions. It's very nice. I liked here. I think all my wishes come true because I wish to dance as a guest outside, and that happened. I want to be a judge in the competition, international competition, and that happened.
Aida is an opera in 4 acts by Giuseppe Verdi, set in the Old Kingdom of Egypt. It was commissioned by Cairo's Khedivial Opera House and had its premiere there on the 24th of December 1871 in a performance conducted by Giovanni Potticini. After premiering in Egypt and Milan, Aida premiered in many countries starting from 1873, such as Argentina, United States, Germany, Spain, Austria, and Poland, among numerous other countries.
My role is sacerdotessa in Italian. In English, it is the great priestess. She's the one praying all the time for this Egyptian army to have victory in the war against Ethiopia. Was written actually for our old Khidewi opera house. Unfortunately, they didn't succeed to perform it at that moment, but it was written for this, and it's a great opera that is performed all over the world, really, and it is so popular and loved. The participation, actually, the rehearsals, we started a long time ago, although it is an opera that we've performed many times before, but also a grand opera, and we have to prepare very well for our voice trainings, for the groups of choir and ballet. It is a big job, and we are so happy that we received Maestro Elio Arciulo from Italy. So since he arrived a few weeks ago, we started our training with him, and before him also we had Ursula and David Delisante from Italy and from Switzerland for our training before the conductor arrived. So it is a big job, and it needs really a lot of preparation and to be completely in shape and by heart. And so it is a pleasure for singers, really.
La vendetta non è il cor, fatiudaci dal perdono, correranno all'armi antor. Almeno ara di pace securtà, fra noi resti col patria Ida. consiglio ucedo di se corta di cagion melior io votarti Radam es la patria tutto te deve
As the Khedive of Egypt was a great lover of European culture, he decided to produce an opera commemorating the inauguration of both the Suez Canal and the Cairo Opera House. He then asked French Egyptologist Auguste Marit to write this opera script based on intense research of Egypt's ancient history. Aida is one of the 20 most performed operas worldwide. The Metropolitan Opera in New York City has presented this opera more than 1,100 times since it's premiered in New York on November 26, 1873, making it the company's second most frequently performed opera.
Is a timeless story of love and betrayal. It features what's bigger than a life story in an exotic world. It is a roller coaster of emotions told through Verdi's powerful music. Shuruq Bikir, Culture Magazine.
You're still watching Cultural Magazine. Hope you're enjoying this episode so far, and there's a lot more coming your way.
Sheikh Yassin al-Tuhemi performed a Sufi concert on the Open Theater at the Cairo Opera House, where he presented a selection of the most famous praise, religious songs, and a group of invocations that support the sublime values, as well as a group of prophetic praise and a Sufi poetry that urges the honor of morals. It is worth mentioning that the vocalist Yassin al-Tuhemi was born in 1949 in the Asyut Governorate. He grew up in a meadow that helped him to memorize the Holy Quran and master the correct pronunciation on the hands of his father. His upbringing in a mystical atmosphere had a great impact in introducing him to the words of giants of Sufi poetry through Islamic history, such as Omar ibn al-Farid, Mansur al-Hallaj, and Muhyiddin bin Arabi. He made many successful tours in Arab and European countries, such as France and Britain, and achieved a great public spread.
حرصنا على ان احنا نقدم برنامج متنوع ما بين الغناء الصوفي.
The concerts of the religious chanting is very remarkable and different. It takes the audience in a spiritual state, especially when the audience interact with the chanter. The fans of the Sufi chanting is really increasing, and the artistic house in the Cairo Opera House is always keen to offer a variety and different types of art, also to promote our heritage and to preserve it through restoring religious chanting to its glory and the prestigious position it occupied on the Arab art scene. For the activities of the Artistic House of the Cairo Opera House, we are keen to show diversity in the programs we offer to our audience, to show our culture, especially for the international guests, from classical music, singing, ballet and opera performances as part of the cultural exchange, which this place is considered as an artistic and cultural platform. Tuhemi expressed his happiness to participate in the opera nights, stressing that the religious songs have recently become very popular among fans. Tuhemi also stated that the Sufi and religious recitals are also witnessing an unprecedented development, especially in light of the unique collections of Sufi works and poems.
This brings us to the end of this episode of Cultural Magazine. Hope you enjoyed it and stay tuned for more on Nile TV.